Friday, Wilson County Public Library Teens. It's so good to see you again. I'm so glad you're joining me. I've pretty much melted over the past week. You can't see, but like from here down, I'm just a blob. I'm like basically Jabba the Hutt at this point. But Jabba was like he was a Hutt, but he was like a space slug. So he wasn't really a blob. Oh, okay. Well, anyway, I'm a blob from here down. I've just melted all week. It's been so devastatingly hot. So I hope you have been keeping cool. I hope you've been doing whatever you can, whether it's hogging all the air conditioning and just like sitting in front of a vent or a fan and just letting all the air just blow right onto you. I mean, that's what I do. So, you do what you can. But I'm really glad you're back this week. I am excited, as always. I think that's my favorite word, is excited. I'm excited about this week's book because it's a little different than some of the books that we have covered. I think there are a lot of ways that we can all find ways to express ourselves. For me, growing up, it was, theater and doing plays and musical theater. That was my kind of way of expressing myself. Some of you might write to express yourselves. Some of you might draw or paint or do kind of graphic design stuff. Some of you might play music to express yourself. There are so many different ways. And this week's book, which is called The Poet X by Elizabeth Acevedo, is a book written in poetry. It's a book about... it's a book about a young woman living in Harlem named Xiomara Batista. And, she's growing up and she's changing, and there are things that are changing about her that, are garnering some attention. And sometimes that is unwanted attention. And it's... And so she's kind of coming into her own and growing up. And so she kind of pours all of her frustration out into the pages of this leather notebook that she has, and it comes out as basically slam poetry. And if you don't know what slam poetry is, it is fantastic way of speaking your truth. And it's very, very powerful. I've never done it, because I'm terrible. But look up some YouTube videos of slam poets. One really great actor who got his start as a slam poet is Daveed Diggs, who you might have seen if you have been watching Disney Plus. In Hamilton, he plays the Marquis de Lafayette and Thomas Jefferson, and he is awesome. So check him out if you haven't. But he got his start doing slam poetry. But It's a really great story about, this Afro-Latina heroine who is finding her way. And finding her way through her mother is super, super devoutly, kind of Catholic Christian, and is very strict about it. And so she's navigating, what's going on with her mother and having feelings for a kid in her class who, her family wouldn't approve of, and she, joining her school slam poetry club and just putting her feelings out there in the form of poetry. This book was a, New York Times bestseller. It won the National Book Award for Young People's Literature, the Michael L. Prince Award, and the Pour Belpré Award. And it's one of the, really powerful books to come out in recent years. It came out in 2018. And actually we are getting another of Elizabeth Acevedo's books in fairly soon called Clap When You Land, which I think you'll probably really like. But it's really cool to see the way that teens can express themselves, to get out frustrations and to speak their minds and to discover who they are. Because that's a big part of growing up. I mean, for me growing up, I always had a pretty good sense of who I was, although, in a lot of ways I was kind of in my shell for most of high school. But I found theater, and that really made me open up. And, maybe you have a way of, relieving tension through art or, music or something like that. So if you are like an artist in some way, maybe you write poetry, maybe you draw pictures, maybe you paint paintings, maybe you write. I want to see what you do, so send me your creations, because I really would like to see kind of what you're doing, because I know there's a lot of talent out there. The Poet X, come check it out. We have it, and I would love for you to come read this book, because I think it could have a really, really, really strong impact on you. And it's a great book to read in the summer. It keeps you kind of going, kind of mentally stimulated. So come check it out. I think you'll really like it. As always, I would never suggest anything that I didn't think you would like. I would never lead you astray. So be good. Wash your hands. Wear your masks. Be kind to everybody. We're all going through a lot right now, and just remember that. And if you need a way of it kind of getting out frustrations or anything, try using art as a way of doing that and telling your story. So anyway, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time right here on TGIF.